hello, world, and welcome to episode 124 Aspersia of Down South Anomalies for the extraordinary Untold Radio Network. It has
Good to be here.
Has an amazing new program. Anyway, we have to pay respects. And my name's Joe Katz.
Yeah, you've already told them.
And you're Aspersia.
Yeah.
Okay, just take it easily. Easily.
I am.
Take it easily on yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have to pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging.
Yeah, we're on Durrag land. Yeah, the Durrag people. Yep.
We are broadcasting from Sydney, Australia, and I hope everyone out there, our subscribers, our listeners, our moderators are all well, and our heart is with you. There is so much going on at the moment, but this episode is entitled Weaponizing Witchcraft, and I knew this was happening.
I knew you did.
Finally, some proof.
Yep.
Goblin attacks are back in the news.
Yes.
And inevitably, where we're moving towards, which is in the news as well, all that hints about files and islands and surreptitious behavior and crazy things going on behind the scenes. No one talks about all that DNA and all those clickbait farms, server farms, and who is going to man them down there at Little St. John's. And maybe it's the transhumanist equation. Anyway, we'll get into it.
We are moving towards something, aren't we? And have been for a while now.
Yeah, shockingly so.
I mean, I've been hearing about, odd news stories over the years.
Yeah.
Over this 20-year period.
Yeah.
And now it's all kind of coming together.
Well, I guess initially what we should do is dedicate this episode to the late, great David Argue. Now, David Argue was an astounding Australian actor.
He was.
Some people have compared him to the Australian Jim Carrey.
He was our Jim Carrey.
And
before Jim Carrey.
This beautiful gentleman who was a little bit on the spectrum, which didn't make it easy for him, was an extraordinary comedic and dramatic talent. The Man from Snowy River.
Yeah.
Lots of Australian TV shows,
Absolutely.
Cop Shop, things like that. But the two films that really stand out for us are Pandemonium and Going Down by the Maverick director that we had on in one of these episodes discussing the ASIO files. People of interest, certain people of interest.
Yeah.
So go back and check out.
Everything is connected, isn't it?
Hayden Keaton.
Yeah.
But David Argue dead at 64. There's a lot of darkness and sickness around us at the moment we're dealing with.
Well, the older you get, this is what you start to deal with.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, our heart is with David and his family. And go back. Look at that man's incredible career. Hercules Returns, was that?
He was in that. That was hilarious.
Oh, God. Everything he did was exceptional.
Absolutely
But
hilarious.
Pandemonium and Going Down.
They're my,
they really are a brilliant vehicle to show David's talent. So we thought, give me that sticker there. I love Paris. We're still loving Paris. And Paris, we miss you deeply.
Yeah.
And the Sydney Underground Film Festival's coming up.
It is.
And we'll be
September.
thinking big time for Paris. Well, Aspersia, where do we start with this? Because so much in the news is just unbelievable at the moment.
Yeah.
And we are lucky to have confirmed that we have the astounding Paul Wallace with us very soon in an interview. And Paul might be able to put some historical referencing. He is literally the latter-day Eric von Daniken.
He is.
He was an Anglican archbishop. He's a theological educator. He's a healing practitioner.
He is.
But he is the author behind the incredible Eden series. I think there's 7, 8, maybe 9 books. That man is so prolific.
Absolutely.
And those books tell a completely different story. He had a consensus reality collapse during his theological years and realized there was a little bit more to the notion of God than just God itself.
Well, I think if you read, all those texts from that time, there's something more to it than just, straightforward stuff. There is a paranormal, supernatural aspect.
Incredibly paranormal aspect to all biblical writing.
So if they say, I used to hear all the time before you can't take, this is not literal. You can't take it literally. It's a metaphor for this. And then other times they say, oh, no, this is literal, in mythology. And it's like, well, you can't shift around to suit you, whether it's literal or theological or mythical. Yes. You know what I mean? It's like, well, who's the arbitrator of this is made up story, a myth, and this is a real time event. It's like you kind of can't, Yeah. And that for me, when they went forth and found Troy, because for a long time, the story of Troy was supposed to be not a fairy tale. It was supposed to be a myth, a made up story. And then, someone went and through the readings, I was able to actually unearth Troy. And it's like, okay, so, you'd been telling us, the West had been telling us for a long time that this was a myth. And then it became a reality. So, yeah, you kind of go, all right, well, who decides?
Yeah,
who decides?
I'm looking at the screen here, and your skin looks perfect, and your skin is perfect. I mean, you've got that Greek heritage, you've got that lovely olive skin. My skin looks like the actual asset we've got here on stream.
You're not supposed to be using this as a mirror, okay?
I know, but I'm looking at it, and I look like a topographical map of Sweden after Armageddon, and you look completely different to that. Anyway,
let's get back to
weaponizing witchcraft.
Yeah. So what do you mean by weaponizing witchcraft?
Well, we're all aware of the proclivities of the MK Ultra program, the search for control of the human mind. And we know that, from things like Midnight Climax, that the CIA were going into places like San Francisco and New York City.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, people were actually being drug tested.
Without their
knowledge. And they were even spraying contaminants into the tunnel system. But I had no idea at the end of the day.
This is the thing, I think, that does my mind in sometimes, that people actually believe that the people that are in power, be it corporations or governments, that they're there for our benefit, to look after us, and they're not. They're there doing a job, and they will do whatever they have to do to keep themselves in that power, in that power structure, or to stay in that political system.
Right.
There's a lot of people that go into it for the right reasons, to help, to make it a better planet. But you only need one or two people that are there for their own, nefarious, greedy,
bad apples,
self
to ruin the whole apple
cart.
And
they just they spread their poison everywhere, their negativity, and it just ruins it for everybody.
Yeah.
So people thinking that people in power are there for our benefit or there to do the best for us just boggles my mind.
Anyway, look, we're all naive and innocent to a certain point, and sometimes it's very difficult to swallow that the world can be as corrupt as it seems, and as crazy, and as weaponizing things that they have thrown into the public domain and basically made us feel like there's nothing behind them. Hypnosis is a great reality.
Absolutely.
It's been used as a tool in covert operations by intelligence agencies since day one. But if you ask the majority of people, they think it's a parlor trick.
Yeah,
it's stage magic.
Yeah, it's not.
Anyway, let's get a little bit of background on the notion of weaponizing witchcraft, because in 2024, 1,200 documents were downloaded and released to the public.
Yeah.
And in
from
those
the CIA.
and in those documents, we realized there was a lot more going on than just, the First Earth Battalion, the ideas that John Ronson, the British author, told us about in Journeys to Extremists and the Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yep.
A hell of a lot more.
The CIA has done some pretty creepy shit over the years, but one of the coolest is that they hired a bunch of witches once that we know about. So it was the late 1960s, and the US military wanted new weapons, but not guns or bombs like they'd been doing. They wanted something different. They wanted some magic. So they started Operation Often. So from 1968 to 1973, they had fully funded occult research. Not just crystals and good vibes, but we're talking witch covens on payroll, testing curses on targets, and they spent at that time over $375,000 on non-traditional religious consultation. They hired psychics, they hired Satanists, voodoo priests. So an example of one of the experiments, in case you're wondering, because I know I was. A curse was cast on 3 different men, and all 3 men died under mysterious circumstances. The CIA wrote it off as just like incidental, but the witches didn't. In Houston, a coven of witches claimed that they could kill bacteria with their minds. And the labs that followed up with this could not explain how it happened. And now this part sounds like it's straight out of a movie. Some agents were tasked with following the bloodline of all the witches that were tried and killed in Salem. Witch descendants, that's what they were looking for. It was said that some of the agents were really uncomfortable being in the room where the rituals were being performed by the witches and voodoo priests. And then there's Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino. He was a Satanist and a psychologist who specialized in psychological warfare. He had top secret clearance and literally founded the Temple of Set. This one. And he wrote a paper that the military later used called From PSYOP to Mind War, and others were trained on his practices. Most of this comes from declassified files and Freedom of Information Act releases, but the weirdest part for me of all of this weirdness is that the military is still hiring contractors as anomalous warfare consultants. So the next time someone tells you that witches aren't real, just remember, the Pentagon has witches on speed dial. So spooky.
The Pentagon has witches on speed dial. Now, if that sound was a little lower, excuse us. Didn't she have devastatingly beautiful hair?
She did.
And the way that she spoke about that. But it just shows you, I mean, they were actually going out there and finding everyone they could. Demonologists, witches, paranormal, ghost researchers.
Psychics,
they were wanting to weaponize the paranormal.
Mm,
and it looks like, to a certain extent, they may have done that.
Well, you have to kind of believe, that that it's real to be able to weaponize it. Because if there's nothing to it, then why would you even bother?
They were just pouring millions of dollars into remote viewing to it that time.
Absolutely.
But this project was called Project Operation Often, or MK Often.
Talking about government hiding things, this one's creepy. There's this thing called Operation Often. It was within MK Ultra. It was hidden from the majority of government until 1975 to 77. The FBI director basically destroyed all evidence of MK Ultra. Then December of 2024, they just released 1,200 documents. It gave more light to this thing called Operation Often. Operation Often was a joint U.S. Army and CIA project launched in the late 1960s. They went full in on hiring Satanists, witches, to study and see if they could weaponize the paranormal. This is not made up. These documents came out saying that they were doing this. There are even reports that this program had files on spiritual possessions, poltergeist activity, and demonic entities.
Bro,
this is the U.S. government saying, like, let's research this and see if we can weaponize it. This was at the height of the Cold War. They're just trying to figure out anything to weaponize.
they're looking at spirituality as like a science to be harnessed because they know it's real. People think black magic, witchcraft, all this stuff is baloney, but I'm like, if the government, they've been looking, now they're like, now we're going to conduct a study on it.
It just makes it that much creepier because the supernatural world is real. Demons are real.
There you go.
There you go. So I suggest what you do is you go to a government site, punch in the CIA and ask about that Operation Often, and you will find that the world is a lot more wackier and out of control that you'd ever imagine.
Do you think they could, it just sounds so bizarre trying to, control demons. I mean, how do you control demons?
Well, I mean, is Linda Blair still
around?
We should have a word to her.
So the priest couldn't control her.
I
know
during Vietnam they were doing really strange things. And there's a great shot of the 3 tramps in Dealey Plaza. I'm always back to the crossroads there of Elm Street.
Yeah.
Of Ed Lansdale. Now, Colonel Fletcher Prouty spoke about Ed Lansdale.
He did.
And was there at Dealey Plaza at that time. Ed was also doing some other scandalous
Why
thing.
did the CIA suck the blood of their enemies? Well, after the Second World War, the US was fighting against the communist Filipino guerrilla group called the Huks. And to help take them out, they sent this guy, Edward Lansdale. Although officially he was sent to the Philippines as a military advisor, he was secretly the head of the CIA's clandestine and paramilitary operations for the region, and tasked with taking down the Huks. So Lansdale started extensively looking into the folklore of the Huks, and quickly realized they believed in a creature called the Aswang. These creatures were vampires that disguised themselves as beautiful women to lure their prey, killing their victim and then sucking their blood. This gave Lansdale an idea, so he quickly ordered an undercover psyop group to infiltrate a Huk village and plant rumors that Aswang were spotted in the neighboring hills. After a couple of days of these rumors circulating, the village grew terrified and sent out a patrol party to look for the Aswang. But Lansdale planned on this and had already set up an ambush. His men silently waited for the patrol to pass and then kidnapped the last man. They then punctured his neck with 2 holes, simulating a vampire bite, and then drained his blood. They then put the body back on the trail and waited. After some time had passed, the Huks discovered the body. They were absolutely terrified and fled the region, fearing further Aswang attacks. Or they realized the CIA was messing with them and they didn't want any part of it. But that's up to you to decide.
I tell you what, the
I
wicked
always
web we
thought
weave.
the Aswang, because I've seen a few
Filipino exploitation films on that. Yep.
but they were supposed to be the they were supposed to suck the blood of unborn infants.
Yeah.
So they used to get into the pregnant women.
I mean, what Ed would be doing is going, okay, we need to actually usurp this.
Right.
And you know, this is the depth and insanity and
Because
perversity.
I did watch Grimm, and there was an amazing episode in
On the
Grimm
Aswang.
on the Aswang.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Grimm's that Canadian series that you love.
I love, yeah.
Astounding. Tell us just a little bit about Grimm, because Grimm actually sort of grabs all the folklorian tales and reworks them.
Nursery rhymes and folklore, and you know, set them in a modern setting in Portland.
Yes.
And you know, this cop doesn't realize that he's a Grimm, which is he fights these monsters, these, you know, big bad wolves, and people. It was like a metaphor for people that their true selves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like a scallengek would be this snake-like creature,
Wow.
and a lot of you know, solicitors and lawyers would be scallengeks because that's their nature. Do you know what I
especially
mean?
now at the moment, with what's happening in the US, a lot of those lawyers.
Scallengeks everywhere. So it was like talking about people's their nature, their true natures.
Yeah.
And he, because he was a Grimm, he had been, it was passed down his line. He was a fighter of these things.
Right.
And so he was able to see the true nature of people.
All right.
Yeah, so it's an amazing series. I've watched it about 7 times over.
Man, did they have an episode on mermaids in there?
Yes, they did.
You know that Chile has always had mermaids at the top of their folklorian culture. Lots of sculptures there and
Well,
things.
sirens are Greek.
Right. Well,
sirens were the ones that used to lure
sirens can be deadly.
Sailors to their death. Yeah, no, they
siren,
are.
the
They are
siren
deadly.
call.
They used to call them to their death and drown. They used to drown.
Well, interesting. Since the earthquake that shook the world about a week or so ago, and we've got people that were directly linked to foretelling that occurring.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Let's not go to that. We'll get to that in another episode. That was quite profound. There's some interesting footage that's kicked up out of Chile. It's supposed to be like a flock of mermaids, like a flock of seagulls, right?
Yeah, it would be a school of
Anyway, it's going to be difficult for people to see this. They can go and chase up this footage, but I'm going to play a bit of it, you know, just in between things here, and just see what you think.
We have a wild video. This is coming out of Chile and captured by a woman named Liliana. And honestly, it has the internet divided. But what's interesting is after that huge earthquake in Russia, it seems to have stirred up the ocean waters. Odd sightings. And this is another one. And honestly, the internet is split on to what it is. Some say it's a pod of whales, maybe seals. Others say those look like human-like creatures. And they think it may be a group of mermaids. Take a look at this footage, comment below, and tell me, what do you see? Do you see something natural, or do you see something maybe from myths and legends?
Oh, that was a bit much, that sound behind it. Yeah.
They don't need to put that sound.
Look, there's only one moment there where
Yeah.
it looks like we're looking at human skin and a head popping up. The less could be.
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Seals. Could be
you can usually see seals and I don't know. I'm not going to say that it's this, that, or the other. I don't know what it is.
We can't.
It doesn't.
And
look...
I would love mermaids to exist. I really would.
Would
but
you
I get
really?
a feeling they're the dugong. You know, I mean, men are at sea for a long time, and things get a little tense.
Yeah, I know.
Stress release needs to occur, and the mermaids sort of fall into that world of like the unicorn. Is there any reality, or are we just looking purely at an archetype or folklore?
I don't know.
Maybe like the goblins. You know.
Mm.
Do you know that there's been a spate of goblin attacks in Zimbabwe?
Yeah, right.
For a long, long time. Goblins in school.
Yeah.
There's some footage up on the web that I couldn't get. You can go to goblins attacking a police station, or the police fled. There was even a goblin.
What? They didn't just shoot them?
According to one of the latest 40 Times, there was a goblin that was brought through customs. There's an odd photograph of it. You really don't see it. It just looks like, you know,
a furry thing.
Yeah, a furry thing. Okay. Let me play a little bit of this goblin material.
Imagine going to school and facing Goblin. Sounds wild, right? In 2013, several rural schools in Zimbabwe were shut down due to a very strange invasion, goblins. Teachers and children reported being attacked in class by invisible creatures, causing panic and mass faintings. Frightened and frustrated, some educators refused to work until something was done. Village chiefs and witch doctors were consulted to cleanse the schools of the malevolent spirits. While outsiders might smirk at the idea of goblins disrupting math class, locals took it deadly serious. Skeptics would call it mass hysteria or mischief by pranksters, but many parents kept their kids home rather than risk the supernatural assaults. In the end, lessons resumed under the watch of traditional healers. Paranormal or not, the episode shows the power of belief to turn a school into a real-life horror story.
Well, there you go.
That was a 2013 story, but it's current now.
It's current now, big time.
Yeah.
You know, and goblins go way back in history.
They do.
They're all part, you know, of an incredible notion that there's these things that'll come out and get you. But these goblin stories, we should get Paul Cropper, Tony Healy's research partner. He's done all that great Yowie work here. He has done extensive work, especially in Indonesia and places like that, on poltergeist activity. And when you break down the majority of these stories, we're talking about rocks being thrown, something that happens in the Sasquatch and Bigfoot reports. We're talking about things being levitated and moved around the room. It sounds very poltergeist-like. Very rarely do you actually see a goblin. But here's a photograph, evidently, of a goblin that was captured in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Now, that looks like shells to me on a potato with a bit of hair. But who knows? Who knows at the end of the day, atmosphere?
It's definitely got some
I would love
dental hygiene issues there,
well,
for sure.
All of us have with age. But you know what? I wouldn't laugh at these goblin stories because unless you're there, you don't know what's going on. And are they just restricted to what we'd say are these, which is really racist, but we'd say are these naive cultures, these more primitive cultures? Well, they're not. In the US in 1955.
Did you know the government once declared a town officially haunted? Yup, this actually happened in America. In the 1950s, a small Kentucky town called Hellier made headlines after locals claimed to see goblin-like creatures crawling out of old mine shafts. Armed residents even shot at them. The story grew so big that the U.S. Air Force allegedly investigated under Project Blue Book, the same project that studied UFOs, but no answers were ever given. What's terrifying is that years later, unrelated hikers in the same area described identical creatures, pale, child-sized with glowing eyes. These weren't just ghost stories. They were filed reports. To this day, Hellier remains infamous among cryptid researchers. Was it mass hysteria, government cover-up, or something still lurking underground? If you're brave enough for more real American horror.
Well, I mean, gee, and that is a great news show actually up on, Chris is doing that Real American Monsters up on Untold Radio. Did I speak about Squatching Holler?
Nope.
With Amanda and Roger, which is a brand new show on the network. And if you haven't been there for the first episode, you need to go back and look at that first.
Yep,
it
absolutely.
was incredible. It is so worthy. Of course, it's again covering the subject, the endless subject that Untold's obsessed with, and that is the parallel hominid. But they do such a good job. Real people, real stories. There's no denying it.
Yeah.
And when you hear stories about people that have lived on the land for generations and their grandmothers out there dealing with this thing,
that's hilarious.
As if it's just another piece of wildlife.
The
the wood boogers.
The wood boogers.
It's just, it's absolutely
so pragmatic,
Yeah, well, that's what I love. And that's when I used to go into the Australian outback, especially when we did To Catch a Flying Star.
The pragmatism of people.
The pragmatism, the tenaciousness of these people is like.
And just the acceptance of like, look, it's here, we're dealing with it.
And there's so much else they've got to deal with on the land. So it's like it's just another hiccup in the day, the hard day that people are going through. Well, listen, disclosure. Do you think it's going to come soon before we get to transhumanism? We've discussed this, and we believe that, all you need to do is speak to someone that you feel has had a genuine encounter, and disclosure is already there. People are desperate.
You mean disclosure from, the powers
the government,
that be?
The powers that be.
Okay. I don't think that we're going to get disclosure from the government.
There is
it's not in like that they're going to come out and say, look, there's UFOs, they're whatever they are, they're real, they're here, we've got to deal with it. I don't think they're ever going to say that, because they at so many different stages, so many different events that have happened, they could have come out and done it, and they're not. They're just holding back. I don't know what they're holding back. I still keep thinking, and like I said to you the other day, how do they come to us and say, give us your trillions of dollars for defense so we can defend our airspace, but there's this thing that's we don't know where they're from, we don't know what they are, we don't know what they want, but they're here, they're real, and we can't do anything about them, but you just keep giving us the defense bucks, and we'll keep trying to protect you. So they can't really come out and say that, can they? No. Because, we're just going to go, no, you're getting no money. If you can't protect us, you're wasting our time and our money. We'll just take our chances with them. They've been here for this long. So, disclosure is not going to come out
when it comes to official bodies and being students of popular culture and underground culture. Yeah. We are well aware since Roswell, there has been a concerted effort every decade to utilize some piece of media, primarily a television documentary or a feature film, in which, independent bodies, maybe with a linkage, are approached, but maybe with a linkage back to the military industrial complex. and told. Now, Walt Disney was the first.
Yes.
And you and I have got
that we know of. Yep.
a lot of Walt Disney programs where the space race is sold in the late 50s. You see Werner von Braun.
Yep.
Or Werner von Braun, depending on what country you're in and who are.
Or how they were trying to scrub him clean. But
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. I Aim at the Stars was a great feature film in that
Again,
regard.
my mum, Sunday nights on the World of Disney, my mum would be sitting there going,
Upon a star.
why are they, these goose-stepping Nazis are on our Sunday night program? She goes, they're a bunch of Nazis.
They evidently approached numerous Disney artists. One of them was Walt Kimball, who I think ended up just at the end of his life going to a MUFON conference and speaking about the fact that they were told they were going to release real information.
Yeah. So what they do, they'd be approached by a government body. They'd say, we've got this footage. We're going to give it to you. We need you to make a documentary. Like, this is going to be the disclosure.
Start working on it. Yeah.
Yep. Start working on it. They would work on that. And then at the 11th hour, when they would say, okay, you need to give us that footage now so we can insert it into there, they'd pull the project.
Yeah.
So they'd have this whole program, but without that bit of
And one of the most infamous of all those documentaries is it's got two titles. It was done by the director Robert Emenegger, who was making a lot of educational films.
This was in the 70s.
1974.
Yep.
It's the last narrated role of the man behind the Twilight Zone.
Rod
The
Serling.
Night Gallery.
Yep.
1974. UFOs past, present and future. Or UFOs, It Has Begun.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is that documentary sits online, and they were told that they were going to get a landing at Holloman Air Force Base.
Yes.
This was out of the Air Force's audio-visual department. And if you've got a problem with that as a factual piece of evidence, you need to watch UFO Cover Up Live, in which the person from that audio-visual department comes on and states they're going to do just that.
Yeah.
So 1964, there's a landing evidently at Holloman Air Force Base. At the midnight hour, like they always do, they pulled the footage. But evidently left 15 seconds without paying attention to it. And there is a mock ending to that documentary, which is just storyboards going, what if a landing had happened? And that is weird in itself. I think Burgess Meredith is one of the co-narrators of that doco as well, the original Penguin. And then you had this other weird thing.
What does that mean? It led weight to the thing because he was the penguin from.
Do you remember there was this whole build-up to a ride at Disneyland called Alien Encounters from A New Tomorrow, 1995. And to go with that was a television documentary stating for the first time that this was a real phenomenon. And it became a tour, a worldwide tour. They actually had artifacts that then uncovered, metamaterials, supposedly. We saw a sphere.
We did.
But the trouble is that tour was really downgraded on a world scale because when it came here to Australia, our example, it was at our Luna Park. It was at our fun park. How is anyone going to take that tour seriously?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's what they do. It's like tiny little increments. And within that, I'm sure there was something in there that was real.
But they always give people an escape clause.
They do. But because of the setting that it's in, you just don't know how to take it. Do you know what I mean?
And then thank God for independent filmmakers like James Fox. Who came out with Out of the Blue. And I Know What I Saw. And actually got press conferences happening where people spilled the beans. Well, is disclosure coming in the form of media again? And in March of this year, released to evidently the screens in the US and still difficult, maybe you can find it on the streaming service now, 34 senior US officials, but they've wheeled out a few of the regulars like Hal Puthoff and Chris Mellon, have done this astounding documentary.
The American people are ready to receive the truth.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone. Non-human intelligence exists.
UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human.
I spent 25 years as a senior official with the CIA.
I worked on highly classified UAP programs.
28 years as an astrophysicist.
I served as the 4th Director of National Intelligence.
Director of Aviation Security in the National Security Council.
A one-star admiral after 32 years of service.
People that come forward with this, I feel like they've taken their life in their own hands.
I was recruited to a highly sensitive government program that investigated unidentified aerial phenomenon.
For over 16 years, on behalf of the U.S. government, I worked as a senior intelligence official on the unidentified aerial phenomenon topic.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings. The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
China has established its own version of a UAP task force.
You think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
This is so secret, very, very few people in our entire government have been allowed access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis, but that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees.
You better be careful about a government that doesn't trust its people, because there's no telling what they'll pull on you.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for species.
It has so many beneficial impacts, including clean energy.
We should have disclosure today. We should have disclosure tomorrow. The time has come.
What else you want to know?
I don't know. What else do we need to know?
Everything. You know what? In 1955, UFO, the true story of flying saucers, is the most remarkable documentary.
It is.
So
we keep
people
banging
are
that
aware,
drum, but nobody's listening.
and there is real footage that was analyzed in that day by the Air Force. One of them shot by an Air Force photographer, Tremonton, Utah, Great Falls, Montana. And people still aren't aware of the power of that documentary. It sits on YouTube. It is in public
It's in
domain.
plain sight. This is the thing. The people that believe it. Okay.
Right.
And the people that don't believe this is a reality, doesn't matter what you show them, doesn't matter how many documentaries you make, they're not going to believe it. That's just the way we are. Right?
So it's the age of disclosure with all our players.
Do you know when that was made? Recently?
Yeah, very recently.
Very recently.
It's only been released in the US in March. It is not on multiple streaming platforms like it should be.
Was it released in the cinemas or?
Supposedly it was released theatrically.
Okay.
But it got
no publicity.
Yeah.
We would have heard about it.
But did you see the name?
We have our ear to the ground on stuff like that.
Did you see the name of the producer?
No, I didn't.
Dan Farrar.
Right.
Who is Dan Farrar?
Who is he?
Dan Farrar produced Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. And here is the link.
Right.
Because are you aware that Spielberg, for the last 2 years, to be released next year, June 12, 2026, is the amalgamation of E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, tentatively titled The Dish.
The Dish or the Disc?
No, it was The Dish.
The Dish. Okay.
But now,
the
rumors are it's going to be called Disclosure.
Right.
Now, if you were to disclose and you're a government body and you're wanting to avoid culpability in crimes of deceiving the public, how would you do that? You do that to Mr. Popcorn, Mr. Jurassic Park.
Well,
so
it's not Jurassic
people
Park, but
are
Mr.
saying,
Jaws.
just like that Robert
Mr. Jaws, the blockbuster.
Emmett Nigger documentary, there is going to be real footage. There is going to be real stills.
Right.
This is where the government is releasing it.
Yeah, right.
They're releasing
And the people,
it to
and
the
I'm gonna,
cineplexes.
the
throughout the
multiplex.
world.
And I'm going to say to you again, the people that believe it, they're going to go along and they're going to see it and they go, yes, this is the disclosure. And the people that don't believe in this stuff, they're going to go along and they're going to go, this is a great film.
Yeah.
It's a great way to spend, an hour and a half or 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on how long it's going to be.
Spielberg was cited recently in New Jersey at 5 Points Custard.
What is that?
Big custard store.
Okay.
With his cast and crew, Emily Blunt, Colin Firth of this film.
Right.
Is it The Dish? Is it Disclosure?
Right.
And he was looking like a 77-year-old. He was hobbling along.
Yeah.
But evidently the primary filming has been wrapped on this.
Right.
It is still held in such secrecy.
Yeah, of course
that
it
it makes
would be.
me suspect something's going on.
Yep.
People are screaming, is John Williams doing the score? And I'm like, Michael Lewis should be doing that score. What in the hell is happening there?
Yeah.
John Williams, your day, you have had it.
Well,
But you know what? Spielberg has always had a fascination with this topic.
He has.
And you can tell us some intimate information as to why.
Oh, well, his sister is apparently an abductee.
And you know what?
And that's how he got into this stuff.
She is a filmmaker.
A bad one, apparently.
A bad but brilliant filmmaker.
Yeah.
Not apparently. We own a couple of her sci-fi films.
Yeah, I know.
They're
I know.
atrocious.
Yeah.
But, let's
just
get
because
it.
you've been abducted doesn't make you a good filmmaker.
Let's get it from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
Recently on US TV with a very controversial host whose job is coming to an end in the wake of what is happening politically over
Who
there.
knows what's going on.
But this is fascinating because you'll see the excitement in Spielberg about what's happening.
Let's talk
now.
about UFOs. What do you make of what's going on right now?
Oh, it's exciting. There's something out there. So I've never seen a UFO. I wish I did.
Nothing that's unexplained.
I've never seen anything that I couldn't explain. But I believe certain people who have seen things that they can't explain that is unexplainable. I think what has been coming out recently is fascinating, just absolutely fascinating. And I think the secrecy that is shrouding all of these sightings and the lack of transparency until Freedom of Information Act compels certain materials to be released publicly, I think that there is something going on that simply needs extraordinary due diligence. I mean, I would like to hear more about it. I don't know what they are. My imagination and my love for, I don't believe we're alone in the universe. I think it's mathematically impossible that we are the only, intelligent species in the cosmos. I think that's totally impossible.
We're not the most. We're not.
I don't know
We're
what
not
they
intelligent.
are. Look,
There's nothing intelligent about us.
He was there.
Somebody needs to blow this planet up. Seriously.
He was there at the UN with Kurt Waldheim in the late 70s.
Yeah, he was.
Helping UFO researchers release information to the United Nations.
He's making out like he doesn't really know.
He was there for an advanced
Like he's
screening
sitting
of
on the
ET
periphery,
in the Oval Office where Ronald Reagan said, "You don't know how close to the truth this is."
They probably gave him the script.
Yeah. So I get a feeling if
dear God,
disclosure is going to come through the pop culture world,
that's how it's going to come.
It's
That's
an
the
interesting
way, because they put it out and then you can say, "Oh, that was just a movie. That was just a movie script." You know what I mean?
So June 12th.
Yep, next year.
Next year, keep an eye out for either the dish or
the
disclosure, or maybe it'll be pulled at the last minute.
Wow.
And
yeah.
So there's a lot of
But I think that's the way they're doing it. They're doing it in tiny little increments. Do you know what I mean? They make
so
this,
tiny, it's
this
exhausting.
big fanfare about this thing that's going to happen. Everybody's talking about it, and then when it comes out, it's like, oh, that's not. Yeah, that's not amazing. But still, it's piquing people's interest. You know what I mean? And it's like this ball gathering moss. As it goes along, it just keeps going along, decade after decade after decade. Do you know what I mean? It's like a slow drip thing instead of like Big Bang.
We should have put in our actual title that Steven Spielberg was on the show. It'd probably be the last show we do, but you know, we can do that. So transhumanism, there's a lot of controversy around that word trans.
Yeah.
Out of fear and
Yes.
naivety. But
look.
transhumanism may be at the heart of some of the largest conspiracies on the world stage at the moment that have got to do with, you know, accumulating databases on DNA and genetics, especially down there in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And the whole notion of like, well, we do transhumanism light, you and I. That is occasionally we will have a vitamin tablet.
Sure.
So that notion of actually pushing the human body beyond its known potential.
Yeah.
Building it up. But the whole thing about transhumanism is the nano chip. It's actually turning yourself into literally a cyborg. I mean, this is the $6 million man on a bigger budget.
We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens, because in the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds. Now, how exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Now, why is data so important? It's important because we've reached the point when we can hack not just computers, we can hack human beings and other organisms. Now, what do you need in order to hack a human being? You need two things. You need a lot of computing power, and you need a lot of data, especially biometric data. But control of data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. All of life, for 4 billion years, dinosaurs, amoebas, tomatoes, humans, all of life was subject to the laws of natural selection and to the laws of organic biochemistry. But this is now about to change. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds, the IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud. These are the new driving forces of evolution. And at the same time, science may enable life, after being confined for 4 billion years to the limited realm of organic compounds, science may enable life to break out into the inorganic realm. Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
That's over. All right, enough of that.
So that was Yuval Noah Harari. Somebody should shoot him.
Oh, Asper, don't say that.
No.
I'm not don't
seriously.
call for violence.
No,
here
I'm
on
not
Untold.
calling, but like metaphorically, like
All right.
seriously. No, there is it. How are we intelligent design? Is he saying that we are going to be able to intelligently design future humans? How can we do that? We are warmongers.
What a great wife I've got.
We kill each other all the time. Families, siblings don't talk to each other. Children kill their parents. Parents kill their children. What the hell is this guy talking about? Like, see, and the thing that the driving force. You know what the driving force is with this? Money.
Yeah.
And this is why it's going to go to hell in a handbasket, because the corporations are the ones that are, you know, funding this stuff, funding the science. And what are they funding it for? To make a better world for all of us? bullshit. That's what I'm calling, because if they were, we would have sorted hunger, poverty, and war by now, right? We would have.
I think certain oligarchs.
Let me finish. I'm on a roll.
Okay.
Let me finish. GM, we're making food, plenty of food, so we can feed everyone. People are still starving. Children, parents can't feed their children in third world countries. Give me a break. People in the streets in first world countries, lying in the streets, corpses on methamphetamine. I mean, give me a break. Where does this person live? On what planet does he live? He doesn't live on this planet, I can tell you right now. Do you know what I mean? This is all crap. And you know who's going to be able to benefit from all this stuff? People with money.
And I think
the majority of people don't have money on this planet. 1% has money. The rest of us are plebs. Okay, you think they're working for us? They're not working for us. They're working for themselves to make more money for themselves. And you know where they get the money from? From us.
All right, can I interject
I'm done.
now?
You can say whatever. It's over now. It's done. I've told everybody everything.
The oligarchs, I think, are trying to set up some sort of breeding program where their seed gets out there and their DNA becomes the ultimate DNA.
Yeah. Because it's so
through
good.
Cloning, through, and who knows? They're probably trying to create slave races to run server farms.
That's not going to happen.
Who knows? But anyway,
it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen because you know what? The human condition always reverts back. It can't help it, right? And eventually, once people aren't getting what they need, they will revolt.
Yeah.
They will revolt. They always do. See, here's the thing. They're only a handful of people compared to us. We could just all rise up and take them over. I don't know why we don't.
We are the majority.
I do know why we don't, because
we're too comfortable.
We're trying to attain.
Sold the vodka.
We're trying to become like that. But you know what? It's a pyramid. It's a pyramid. There's not enough room for everybody at the top.
Okay.
Because if we're all at the top, who's down the bottom cleaning the toilets? Who's at the bottom making the crap that we want to consume? This is what people don't get. It's like, wake up to yourselves. Stop buying the bullshit. They're selling you crap. They're selling you crap you don't need with labels. Anyway, don't get me started. Oh, I'm angry now. I'm telling you. Anyway.
And I'm going to spend the rest of the day with you. It's shocking.
I'll calm down. I'll go and do some knitting, watch a bit of Elementary, and I'll be all right.
Hopefully Paul Wallace will bring some, because of his theological background, will bring some solace and calm to all of us.
Not to me. You know, if I knew where the red button was, I'd blow this planet up right now.
Okay. Well, we're trying to instill love and understanding. I am too,
but I don't see it. I don't see it. It just, when I hear people like that, so why do you want to change us? We're already fine the way we are.
I think he's a commentator. He doesn't want to change us. He's horrified of what the future could bring.
Nah, he's one of them. I'm telling you right now.
Don't say that.
He's one of them. He's science. Science is not gonna do anything. Science hasn't made anything better for anybody.
This will be going on behind the scenes when this cast is off.
Science. You know what science does? Science goes and synthesizes natural medications, right, for sick people. It synthesizes them for pharmaceutical companies and sells them for too much money. They've monetized the health system, right?
Yeah.
Who thought that was going to be a good idea, to put the health system in the hands of a corporation? Who thought that was going to be a good idea? That was the worst thing that they could have done. Hospitals, a business. Nursing homes for all people are a business. How is that a good thing for anyone?
It's not.
Now, because if you don't have the money, you die. You don't get the service.
To an end.
Oh, my God.
You're on Untold Radio. We're a married couple. This is what happens after decades of marriage. My name's Jay Katz.
My mum has got a lot to answer for. She really does. She made me from a very young age see the truth. I'd look at something, she'd
Got
say,
the
don't be an
jaundice eye.
idiot. Don't be an idiot. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, when she's saying to you, we're watching Disneyland on a Sunday night, the family's sitting down, she'd go, what are these Nazis doing here? What are these Nazis?
Project Paperclip.
Goose stepping across the screen on a Sunday night for a family program.
All right. Your mother
What are you
made
going
you quite cynical.
What are you going to grow up like? Like this?
Yeah.
What can you do?
Anyway, look. Calm.
I'm calm.
Okay. And I'm sure he was just commentating on that thread. He was trying to raise awareness there. He's not a seller of that. So let's not
Like
defame
people aren't
on the
aware.
cast. Let's not defame them on the cast.
I'm
as
not
we see it.
defaming anyone. I'm just really saddened that we really should be. We've got so much science. We have so many things that we could
But you
be
know what?
making such a better world for everyone.
I'm uplifted.
and it's not. It's not. It's
I-
getting worse. It's
But
getting
so many good people are
seriously.
out there doing good things.
I know
Doctors
that,
Without
and
Borders.
that's what kills me. That's what kills me because there are
You
so
are
many.
killing me today.
No, there are so many people out there that are so good and kind and want to help people, but they're not at the top.
Yeah.
That
All
are pushing
the
the
wrong
agenda,
people
and
have the right
the
money.
wrong people are pushing the wrong agenda for
All right.
humanity.
Can we wind
That's
this
the
down a
problem.
little?
I'm exhausted.
You're on episode 124 of Down South Anomalies. Every time I go on Untold Radio, I see incredible community.
I know.
I see
I
really
know.
peaceful,
I
caring
know,
chat
I
rooms.
know.
And I see open-minded people that are having experiences beyond what we are led to believe. That is my community.
Yeah, and
That
then
is
we
my
come.
solace.
Then you come on. Then we find out that a whole bunch of papers have been released by the CIA because they want to weaponize the spirituality. They want to weaponize demons. I mean, what do you think I'm going to do? Is go? Oh yeah, that's okay. I'm going to rail on them.
You're already weaponized. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, so that was weaponizing witchcraft.
Yeah.
Goblin attacks
Mhm.
and transhumanism.
Yeah.
Just a little peek at all those research
Of what's
topics.
going on.
Yeah. And look, our
Mm.
heart and our soul are with you. All our listeners, all our viewers, all our subscribers, all our extraordinary moderators.
Mhm.
Where is Catherine Four Feather Falls? I can't even find her on Facebook.
That's a bit sad.
I hope nothing's
think
happened
something's
there.
sad.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. John Ayres, search her out.
Mhm.
Anyway, we will be back extremely soon. Actually, sooner than you think.
If I'm not banned.
Even though we are dealing with much harrowing stuff.
Yeah, we're getting through it.
Yeah, there is so much pain and sadness out there. Every second of this life, we
Mhm.
should be promoting positivity. So what happened to you just then?
You know what? Just put me in charge, and I'll sort it.
You are in charge of my life. I'm living with
And
Tina
you're having-
Turner in Beyond Thunderdome on a daily basis. Help! SOS message.
Cross with Judge
Help me.
Judy.
Yeah,
Cross with Judge.
If I'm weak this way, I need help, people. Come to Jordan
Oh.
Springs and save me. Anyway, we will see you sooner than you think.
Mhm.
You've been on Untold Radio's
You
Down
have.
South Anomalies.
Yeah.
I'm Jay Katz.
And I'm Esposito.
And that's just another episode of our kooky madness. Are you going to kick us out there?
I am.
All right.
All right, kids. We will be
Back
back
soon
next
enough.
week.
Well, maybe not next
Oh
week.
no, well, next time.
But
Let's
maybe
say
next
next time.
week.
Well, no,
We're getting
we'll
close.
see.
All right.
We'll see. All right.
Take good care. Be safe.
I've got
heart
to
is with
remember.
you.
How did I do it last time?
Just hit the end of recording and it should go on.
Okay then. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you've got it?
I do have it.
Well,
All right.
technology befuddles us.
Yeah. All right.